guys, so today's episode is Conspiracy, and I actually watched this episode about a month ago, intending to review it then, but it just annoyed me so much that I kept putting off and putting off reviewing it until eventually I just had to watch it over and review it today. And I'll get into why I was so kind of unexcited to review it in a minute, but first I want to do a quick recap. So Captain Picard and the Enterprise are flying off to this beautiful tropical planet where they're going to do important stuff, but they're also going to have shore leave. And the Picard gets a super secret, top secret transmission that's like for captain's eyes only from his friend Walker. And Walker says, like, I need to talk to you, it's important, just come to this planet, don't ask questions, you owe me. So Picard goes, and he meets up with Walker and with two other captains of Starfleet, and they tell him that they think that there's a conspiracy going on in the top echelons of Starfleet Command. They don't know what it is, they don't know what their goal is, they don't know who's in on it, but there's something up. There's been weird orders being given, people have been dying mysteriously, like something is wrong. And he thinks that they've gotten to his first officer and his medical officer. He tells Picard, just keep your eyes out. Let us know if anything weird goes on. We're not going to do anything. Just be careful. Picard's like, yeah, okay. And so he gets back on the Enterprise, and he talks to Counselor Troy, and he says, I don't know if anything's wrong, but he's one of my oldest friends, and I trust him, and I think that I'm going to take his advice. I'm going to be careful, maybe do some investigating. So they're back on their way to the island, and then they come across a debris field. And they're scanning it, and Worf says it's the Horatio, which is Walker's ship. So it has been completely destroyed, no survivors, it's just gone. And so Picard is really upset because one of his best friends just died, and he's beginning to think that this conspiracy thing might be true. So they go all the way back to Earth, and they show up at Earth. And Starfleet Command is like, what are you guys doing here? You're supposed to be on the other side of the quadrant or whatever. And so they meet Admiral Quinn, who was in episode 19, Coming of Age, and that's when he had Commander Rimmick going around interviewing everyone, and Quinn warned Picard back then that there was something up with Starfleet, and that was like 4 or 5 episodes before this one, so they've kind of been leading up to it. And Picard talks to Quinn, he's like, we're, concerned. That's kind of why we came back. And Quinn's like, oh, I wasn't really talking about that. I meant, just Starfleet always needs to be careful, and assimilating new people in the Starfleet is hard, and yeah, it wasn't anything specific. And so Picard, his spidey senses are tingling now. He's like, this is not Quinn. There's something wrong. So he goes down to the planet and leaves Riker to show Quinn around, and so Picard's kind of like doing this cat and mouse thing with the two other admirals, where they're kind of like dancing around the topic where like he knows that something's wrong and they know that he knows, but no one's admitting it. So back on the ship, Quinn attacks Riker, knocks him out, and he wants to try to implant this little bug. It's kind of like a con worm, except it's a lot bigger, and he's like, we found this new species, you should look at it. And he knocks Riker out, but then he gets rescued by Worf and Geordi and the Doctor. And when Beverly examines Quinn, she finds that there's like this weird little tube sticking out of the back of his neck, like right here, and that he has this insect like on the base of his spine. I'm getting really into this recap, but so it's controlling his like higher brain functions or whatever, and it works by controlling him, but then it also stimulates the adrenal gland, which makes him super strong and powerful, which is how he was able to take on Riker and Worf. And so they rescued Riker from that. So meanwhile, back on the planet, she tells Picard this, and he's like, that is bad. Here, I'm going to shut this door. My cat's making noises. She tells Picard, be careful, set your phaser to kill. I don't think that stun would work on these people. Also, we can't remove it without killing the host. And Picard's just like, I don't have a phaser. I'm at Starfleet. So he goes in, he's going to pretend to have dinner with these people, and he sits down, and he opens up his little thing, and it's a bunch of grubs. And they're all just all, like, laughing at him while they, like, scarf down handfuls of grub, like, oh, eat up, Picard, And he's just, like, sitting there looking freaked out. And he turns around, he gets up, he's going to make a run for it, and Riker walks in. He's like, whoa, yeah, it's Riker. And then Riker is being stoic Riker, which Riker has 2 moods. He's, like, normal Riker, and anytime he's, like, angry or possessed or like has Q powers, he turns into Stoic Riker. So now he's Stoic Riker, and he's like, you're not going anywhere. And so they're sitting down, and Riker's picking up the grubs. Right before he eats them, he pulls out his phaser and he starts shooting people. So him and Picard beat up everyone. They run out. They're chasing Quinn down a corridor. They shoot him. And once they shoot people, the little bug things come crawling out of their mouths. And they notice that they're all going towards one place. So they go in the door, and Remek's sitting there, pushing buttons on this giant map of the galaxy. And they're like, oh no, Remek, look out. And the bug climbs up his leg, and it climbs up his arm, and it goes into his mouth. And he's like, you don't understand. We wanted to peacefully coexist with you guys. And then they kill him. They shoot him in the head, and his head explodes. And then the mother creature bursts out of his chest, all like alien style, and they shoot it and kill him. And then they fly away. It's actually a pretty exciting episode. So, things I really liked about this episode, it is, like I said, it's very exciting. Like, a lot of stuff happens in it, and it's a lot, it's very coherent and cohesive, and it's not just them wandering around the Enterprise talking. It doesn't have the shoehorned in side plot that some episodes have. It's just, this is the plot, there's bad stuff going down, we need to deal with it. And I really like how focused it was. But the things that annoyed me about it, it wasn't so much that it's a bad episode, it's that it could have been a lot better. So my point, I'm trying to, like, with a lot of episodes, I like them a lot, but I think it wish they could be better, and that holds me back from actually liking them as much as I could. And additionally, like, I always think of some things that are wrong with it. So, something that bothered me about this was that I feel like it should have been a two-parter. It should have been a couple episode, like an arc. And Star Trek doesn't have a lot of story arcs like other shows have. I mean, it's very much an episodic show. But it could at least been a two-parter. Because you have the episode back in Coming of Age where Quinn is kind of warning them, and you kind of have it in the back of your head that something's wrong with Starfleet. But then they don't bring it up again for a while until this, and all of a sudden it's a full-blown conspiracy. And I like the way the plot worked out, but I think it would have been really, really cool if they had it over a longer period of time, kind of evolving, like in a 3 or 4 episodes, or even 2 would have been better, because it ends, and the way it ends is that Remek sent a homing beacon to the little parasitic people, so it kind of hints that more of them are going to be coming, but they never do. They never show up. That never comes back into it again. And it's like they were trying to go for that, but they didn't. So that's what kind of bothered me. Because Starfleet and the Star Trek universe is so perfect, or at least is portrayed as being perfect, and then all of a sudden you have this idea that, oh my god, Starfleet Command is corrupted. And maybe it's not the people that are corrupt, maybe they're being possessed, but still, that's a big deal. And it's glossed over. And they're saying, okay, so apparently the top people in Starfleet can be taken over by aliens, and no one will notice for at least a couple months. And it's just kind of, they didn't have enough lead-in, But I guess that's not a good enough reason to not like it, because just watching it now, like, it's actually a really enjoyable episode, even knowing what was going to happen, because I just watched it a month or 2 ago. It was still, like, a pretty good episode. I like that you kind of got to see Picard in action. Like, you got to see, his past friends. It was a friend of, Beverly and Jack Crusher, and it was part of his past. He shows, like, his loyalty to his friends, and then he's actually in a very dangerous situation down on Earth, and I like how much it focused on Picard. Because the other characters, honestly, I don't even know if he ever told them what was going on, except for Riker and Beverly, Troy. It was very much focused on Picard and his decisions and his sense of right and wrong and what he was gonna do. I also liked at the end when Riker comes in, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, sit down. And then he pulls out his phaser and saves Picard. I like when Riker goes into, like, Stoic Riker mode. It's like in the episode Gambit, I think it's in season 7, him and Picard are pretending to hate each other, and it's just like, it's like the exact same thing that he does every time. He gets, like, really cocky, and it's just funny. I may still have oh my gosh, okay. This is unrelated, but I went to this work thing the other day, and I met my coworker's girlfriend, and we bonded over the fact that we used to think that Riker and Wesley were cute. Well, she thought that Wesley was cute. I used to think that Riker was cute. And it was really funny because I never met her before, and my coworker was just like, oh my god, like, why are you guys talking about this? He was disgusted, but it was funny. That's really all my thoughts about this episode. Let me know what you guys think, because I think that one of my main problems with The Next Generation is that it doesn't delve into Starfleet enough. It doesn't delve into real problems, and it doesn't have enough arcs. And I know that that's kind of, at least The Next Generation and the original series, they were very episode, related. They didn't have long story arcs. Voyager obviously had the whole 7 seasons of trying to get home, but within that it had like different portions. Like you had the season where they were fighting the Borg, they had the season where they were fighting the care, I forget what they're called. It's like the first season. So it was a little bit more I guess blocked off. And then I think Deep Space Nine, I haven't watched Deep Space Nine. I know it's terrible, but it's a little bit more so. But that's kind of my thing with Next Generation. It's my favorite one. Like, I love it so much, but I think that you could have a lot more depth if you put more effort into each story arc. But obviously, I mean, the show's over. It's not like anyone's going to take my advice, and I don't want them to. It's a great show the way it is, but that's kind of the thing that gets me every once in a while. But actually, I actually really like this episode. I feel like I always start my reviews with saying, there's a lot of issues with it, and by the end it was like, well, it's actually pretty good. So it's just that's how I'm gonna end this. Let me if you guys have any thoughts about it, as always, comment. I love talking to other Star Trek people. If you, I don't know, just anything you want to say about Star Trek, just write a comment. Let me know what you think, and you guys have a great day.